One of the biggest problems with being an investor is that we can be very selfish as investors as well as entrepreneurs. Now, let me explain what I mean. When we learn something, a new skill set like real estate, we do all these things, right? As entrepreneurs, we are not afraid of putting in hard work. I mean, if there was 25 hours in a day, most of us would put in those 25 hours because we want to succeed. Now, we go to seminars, we read books, we watch videos like this, we learn all this information, and we're normally doing this because we want to help our family members have a better life for ourselves. We want to be in a better position. Maybe we want to have the lifestyle and the freedom to live life on our terms and be able to take our families and do whatever we want, either now or in the future. The reason I say that we're selfish is because the problem is we're doing all of this, but we're not including the people that we're actually doing it for. So think about this. How many times do you actually sit down with your spouse, significant other, loved one, children, and actually let them know what is your specific plan? What is the strategy that you're gonna do to reach a certain goal? And what are all the things that you have to do? Meaning, how much money do you have to put into a deal? How much time commitment? What is the time frame that this is gonna take? What is your exit strategy? Are you gonna pass this down as a legacy? We don't talk about these things. So the people that we're actually doing it for have no idea what we're doing, why we're doing it, and they have no idea. They just know that you're busy. Maybe you go to a seminar and you come back and you're like, hey, now we're doing this flipping. Now we're doing a subject to. Now we're wrapping something. They don't know what that means. So that's what I mean by us being very selfish. We are doing this for someone, but we don't really share it with the people that we're doing it for. Now, my suggestion is start being inclusive when you're doing these things. I'm not saying you have to take them with you to these conferences because that may not be what they want to do. However, when you own real estate, you own a business, and that business needs a leadership board, meaning CEO, it needs a board of directors. Now, you generally are going to be the CEO of your business. You're going to be running your business. Now, the question is who is the board of directors? Well, in my opinion, if it's you and a spouse or you and a business partner, that is the board of directors. That is when you want to actually take the time to sit down, maybe either once a month or at the least once a quarter, to actually sit down in the board of directors meeting and you do more of an audit, where you're actually sitting down and you're talking about, okay, this is where we're at. This is our yearly goal. This is our 5-year goal. And this is what we've done the last quarter. Right? Here's our P&L statement. Here's our income. Here's our expense sheet. Are we on track or off track based on our 3-month goal to reach our 1-year goal, to reach our 5-year goal, to retire, right? And this is when you bring them in. You're not really asking them for help. All you're really doing is you're bringing them into the conversation so that they know what's going on. And if you have a business partner, this is when you want to have the business partner's spouse involved. Many times partnerships end in dissolution, and the majority of the time, it's because the spouse was never really on board with this whole thing. Or maybe they got married, and now the new spouse says, why are you spending all this money on these real estates? Or why are you spending this time doing these things? I don't want you doing that. Or maybe you have a child now, and this has to happen. So the best thing you could do is bring the other people involved in the board of directors meeting, and that is where you can have these conversations. You can hash out any issues, you can go over any discrepancies, and you can kind of iron out anything so that in between the board of directors meetings, this is when you can actually do your work. This is when you can put in the time to make things happen to be successful. Many, many times people find out down the road that they've been working hard for the last 5, 10, 15 years, and the spouse doesn't even know what they were doing, and it becomes a resentment. And now it becomes a problem, and it becomes a reason for many relationships to actually end because you're trying to do these things, but you never actually tell them. So that's what I mean by entrepreneurs being selfish. Try your best to communicate with your spouse or significant other or your children, bring them involved. You know, my son at 14 years old bought his first rental property. I didn't give him a house. He bought a property because he learned about passive income and building wealth. Think about how you could generate generational wealth with your children, with your loved ones, by teaching them what you're doing instead of just giving them a house. You can give your family members all of your assets and they can run it right into the ground. That's not why you're doing this. You're building this so that it can live on beyond you like a legacy. And that's what you want to do. But if you don't share your goals, your strategies, your execution tactics, if you don't share those things, no one's ever going to know what you're doing. And no one's going to even care because you've held this in. So you don't need to be a superhero and think that you need to do it on your own. What you need to do is you need to share the information, make it inclusive, make a board of directors meeting, create something for your children to be able to pass it down as a legacy, not the properties or the assets, but the knowledge, and this will help you extensively to be successful. So hopefully you like this information. I'm Steve Rozenberg. Thank you very much.